Hello and welcome back to another episode, being episode 16 in my FSX Flight Simulator flight series. Today we'll be flying within the US of A. We'll be flying from Miami International in Florida, KMIA, to Tampa International, which is also in Florida, and that is KTPA. Today we'll be flying this WESTJET Boeing 757-200 and our call sign is Airwave 1. We'll be flying a VOR route today. Our first VOR is DHP, then RSW, then SRQ, followed by our last VOR MCF. We'll be flying at 5,000 feet and it is 1500 hours or 3 p.m. at the moment here in Miami, Florida. As you can see, the plane is just undergoing servicing by ground crew and will be underway as soon as ground services have finished preparing the plane for departure. As you can see, ground services are just finishing off their servicing of the aircraft. Nice aircraft, this WESTJET. Haven't flown it very much, so it'll be interesting to see how we go. Just looking around the aircraft there. I'll be back with you once ground services have finished off and we'll get the plane ready for taxi and departure. Thanks again for joining me on this episode 16 and I hope you enjoy the flight. Be back soon. And as you can see, we are now ready for pushback. We'll now just get some taxi instructions and start our taxi to our runway in preparation for takeoff. Be back with you in a moment. Okay, so here you can see the cockpit view of our instruments. Let's just now tune into Miami clearance and request our IFR.
Miami, clearance delivery, Airwave 1, IFR to Tampa, ready to copy. Airwave 1 is cleared to Tampa Airport as filed. Fly runway heading, climb and maintain 5,000. Departure frequency is 120.5, squawk 0124. Airwave 1, cleared to Tampa Airport as filed. Fly runway heading, climb and maintain 5,000. Departure on 120.5, squawk 0124. Airwave 1, read back correct. Contact ground on 121.8. Miami, round, Airwave 1 with Tango, ready to taxi IFR. Airwave 1, taxi to and hold short of runway 30 via taxiway November, Yankee 1 Whiskey, Papa, Quebec, runway 9er, Quebec 8. Contact tower on 118.3 when ready. Taxi to and hold short runway 30, using taxiway November, Yankee 1 Whiskey, Papa, Quebec, runway 9er, Quebec 8. Airwave 1.
There's our taxi instructions. Now what we'll do is we'll just bring up the overhead panel and just set a few things here. Cross flow, some window heat, pitot heat, anti-skid. We'll just turn on our taxi and our landing lights, and that's about all we need on this panel. So let's close this off. Okay, so we're ready for pushback and commence our taxi. So let's just get pushback and we'll get this plane in the air.
Ground from cockpit. Go ahead. Ready for pushback. Okay, steering pin inserted, release brakes.
Brakes released.
Okay, pushing back.
And there we have our pushback, just waiting for our tow to move out of the way. Let's commence our taxi to our runway, which is runway 9, and I'll be back with you once we're ready for takeoff. Here we are at our runway, being runway 9, ready for takeoff. Let's tune to tower and get some clearance.
Miami Tower, airway 1 at runway 30, ready for takeoff, IFR to Tampa. Airwave 1, clear for takeoff, runway 30. Clear for takeoff, runway 30, airway 1.
Okay, so I'll be back with you after we take off and get to our cruising altitude. Thanks again for joining me, and hope you enjoy the flight.
120.5. Airwave 1, Miami departure. Roger. Altimeter 2992. Airwave 1, turn right heading 305. Proceed on course. Climb and maintain 5,000. Turn right heading 305. Proceed on course. Climb and maintain 5,000. Airwave 1. Airwave 1, contact Miami approach on 128.6. 128.6 for Airwave 1. Airwave 1, contact Miami, departure on 120.5. Going to 120.5, Airwave 1. Airwave 1, contact Miami Center on 132.4. 132.4 for Airwave 1.
Here we are at 5,000 feet, being our cruising altitude. We have already passed our first VOR of DHP, and we are now on our way to RSW. We are now cruising at approximately 320 knots, and we will be crossing over RSW shortly, because at the moment we are around about 61 nautical miles, as you can see on our GPS, from RSW. I'll be back with you soon.
Airwave 1, contact Miami Center on 134.75. Going to 134.75, Airwave 1.
And here we are at 9 nautical miles away from our second VOR, being RSW. We are just about ready to pass that VOR. We are currently cruising at our cruising altitude of 5,000 feet at 355 knots. So we've just crossed our second VOR, RSW, and are headed towards our third VOR, SRQ, and we are currently 66 nautical miles from that VOR.
Fort Myers approach, airway 1 with you, 5,000.
Nice view there over one of the lakes. So we've just been advised by air traffic control that we have been assigned runway 18 left for ILS approach into Tampa International in Florida, KTPA. At the moment we are approximately 70 nautical miles from the airport, and what we will do is start to prepare the plane for landing. I will be back with you once we get a little bit closer to our destination.
Airwave 1, turn left, heading 280. Departure, orbit 4785 is climbing through 1,100 for 9,000. Orbit 4785, Tampa departure, roger. Altimeter 2992. Airwave 1, please expedite your turn to heading 310. Orbit 4785, turn right, heading 070. Resume on navigation, climb and maintain 9,000. Orbit 4785, you are 58 miles southwest, turn right, heading 110. Climb and maintain 9,000. Expect vectors visual, runway 36, left approach. Turn right, heading 110, climb and maintain 9,000. Expect vectors visual, runway 36, left approach. Orbit 4785, American Pacific 2629. Airport is at your 10 o'clock, 12 miles. Turn left, heading 050. Report runway in sight. Turn left, heading 050. American Pacific 2629er. American Pacific 2629er has the runway in sight. American Pacific 2629er. You are 10 miles southwest. Climb and maintain 2,100. Clear visual. Runway 5 approach.
And here we are on our final approach into Tampa International in Florida, KTPA. We are currently descending to 3,000 feet and be landing shortly. I'll be back with you just after we land.
Five hundred, hundred above, minimum 200, 100, 50, 30, 20, retard 10.
So there you have it, another pretty decent landing. I hope you enjoyed the flight. All we'll do now is just shut the plane down as we wait for ground services to come out and service the plane. As our engines shut down, you can hear them wind down. Ground services have now come out to the aircraft to commence ground operations. Thank you so much again for joining me on this flight from Miami International, Florida, USA, KMIA, to Tampa International, Florida, USA, KTPA. I hope you enjoyed the flight, and I hope you can join me on the next one. If you liked the video, please give us a like, and please remember to subscribe. Thanks once again. Take care, and bye for now.